So let's go. I'm getting it. Do we have the slides running? We have.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm doing it in a configuration even more crazy that Joseph used to do things. So bonus question for French people where I am if you want to find. But let's go to the presentation. This is about the project that we did to use the Yocto project in a DevOps environment and do a learning environment. So who we are? You probably know me. I've been doing security in the Yocto projects for some time already. In this project, it has been Samantha helping me. She is more a DevOps profile. And she has been working much on this project, and especially about using the newest technologies that we have in the DevOps. So that was a pretty interesting experience. Now, what was the reason of this project? I wanted to teach a course about the security in the Yocto project, a short one, something like 1 or 2 weeks. The problem is in such a situation is that if I allow my trainees to set up their machines at the beginning, that's going to add up badly. We are going to spend like half of a day on just configuring the machine. So I didn't want that. I wanted to have them to be ready from day one. And then we do it online. So shipping hardware to different locations, just not practical. You're asking for trouble. And then we have the budget. We could have gone for like 24 plus cores machines, having space, but well, that is a pretty expensive thing. And last thing, we wanted multiple Yocto project versions because update between versions is a security exercise, so I absolutely didn't want to stop this. So then we had a look of what is there in the Yocto project. And the obvious choices were shared download directory because we did want to have a limited download, and the shared state because we know that the build time could be really dramatic. And then we wanted to work with CIs. So we have chosen CAS to use it for the build itself to have a reference. And in this presentation, we are going to share the technical details and the lessons learned. And this second part will be covered by Samantha.
Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me well. I'm Samantha, and I'm going to introduce you to the technical side of this project. So on the technical side, we knew from the beginning that we wanted an all-in-one solution to manage our infrastructure. And the idea was to deploy, configure, and tear down the infrastructure of a session in one pipeline. So with the combination of GitLab CI/CD scripts for automation, OpenTofu scripts for virtual machine deployment in the cloud, Ansible scripts to configure them, a few Python scripts, and many more software, we managed to create a product tailored to our needs. So what our solution does is deploying as many virtual machines as there are students in the session, as we wanted them to have their own dedicated learning environment. And the main feature we are going to focus on today lies in the 2 additional machines we deployed alongside a student environment, which are 1 machine hosting a Ceph cluster and a backup machine. So as our training sessions are short, we couldn't afford losing time due to misconfiguration because every hour counts. And as our training sessions are Yocto project oriented, we needed to figure out a way to make builds as fast and simple as possible. So our solution was to create a task within our pipeline process to build every Yocto image we would need during the session and extract as many data as possible from it. which are the archive of the downloaded packages and also the estate. Then we needed a solution to distribute those data to each student's environment. And that's where we thought of Ceph file system. So Ceph file system, for those who aren't familiar with it, is a distributed file system designed to provide scalable, highly available, and resilient storage. And one of its key features is that data is distributed across multiple servers to ensure redundancy and fault tolerance. This particular feature is what we needed to store our Yocto builds data and distribute them to each student machine. So in practice, it meant deploying an additional machine to host a Ceph cluster, allocating disk space for storage, transferring our data onto this space, and replicating the storage as virtual disks mounted on each student's virtual machine. This way, they could access data from their own environment. We tested our solution, ran multiple builds concurrently, and it worked really well. So finally, it was time to run our ultimate test, hosting our first live training session. And everything went smoothly until 4 p.m. on the first day. So at 4 p.m., I started receiving warning messages from the monitoring software embedded in our infrastructure, stating that we were running very low on available disk space. Fortunately for us, Ceph Cluster can handle dynamic disk addition. So it took only a few clicks on our cloud provider and some Ceph command line to add a new disk and bind it to the cluster. Then Ceph automatically started transferring data from one disk to another and started its recovery process. One thing we haven't foreseen is that it took more than an hour to completely recover from its near full state. But with the additional disk and within the first 10 minutes, students were able to successfully build again. This overload of our disks was partially due to our shared estate setup, and on a closer look at it, we came across two main challenges. The first one is due to the fact that we wanted a student to freely choose what to add and how to customize their distro, which led to many more packages added in the estate, at least more than initially expected. And the second challenge, a little bit trickier, is that we wanted to be able to add more packages to our estate without removing none of them. So that students would... sorry?
I muted them. Carry on.
Oh,
go on.
Yeah, so that the students would customize their distro without impacting others. And the problem with the shared estate is that whenever students build different distribution using the same estate, it would purge itself of unused packages, which are the same packages others would need. The same applies when switching from one Yocto project version to another. And in our training, we are using two of them. So for this particular situation, we decided to keep each Yocto project version estate from the pipeline in separate folders, even if it involves taking a risk that some student might accidentally forget to switch estate source between two builds of different version. And as for the customization of a student's distro, we couldn't really find a way to lock estate item while keeping the possibility to add more of them. So in short, we haven't come up with a perfect solution yet. So here's how we mitigate this situation and our future improvement. So far, our solution for estate sharing is keeping a backup of the original estate from the pipeline, ready to be redeployed. And this is really in case of emergency. And to avoid losing too much time recomputing lost packages, we will allocate more resources to students' virtual machine. We will also allocate more disk space to our Ceph cluster and better estimate how much space our student will need. So that was a quick overview of our DevOps journey using Yocto Project. Thank you for listening. You can check out our project in the link here, and we hope you learned something from our experience. And do we have, yes, I think we have a few minutes left. Is there any question, or if you want to share your own experience with shared estate and Ceph file system, please do. Thank you.
We have a few questions in the chat window.
Oh, okay, I see. So I use using Ceph file system for shared estate storage and Ceph RBD for the VMs. We are only using the Ceph file system for shared estate storage. That's the main feature we use from Ceph. And I don't know if Marta is still here and can answer some of the questions.
One of the estate cache mirror, I think that's something we can try out. We were more looking for just a variable to change the behavior, but we couldn't find one. So probably, yeah, the state cache mirror, that could be something.
I think, Marta, you are breaking up.
And then for the architecture, there was a question, are you using CephFS for Shansa?
Okay, so you mentioned that the part of the value of Ceph is redundancy, but spoke of adding one extra server for Ceph. Yeah. Was your Ceph cluster a single machine? It was 2 machines. Part of the backup machine is used for redundancy, and also to keep the extra downloaded packages and estate backup from the pipeline. But yes, we're using a second machine also for redundancy. Ceph is certainly on my personal list. Yeah, do try it out. It's really great.
If my network works, I would try to comment that we have tested the performance, and that Ceph performance on the build was really great. So I think I haven't compared with NFS, but I think on comparable machines it will be better. So people test it out.
And some people are mentioning estate mirrors to share estate across teams. I think we will look into it.